Hi everyone! It's nearly Chinese New Year, so it's time for marbled tea eggs. To make this really tasty and pretty snack, you will need 4 to 6 chicken eggs, 2 to 3 black tea bags. They don't have to be anything special, just black tea, 2 cinnamon sticks, a teaspoon of Szechuan peppercorns, just for fragrance, not for heat, and 3 to 4 pieces of star anise, which is really the reason why you're making tea eggs in the first place. Lastly, you will need half a cup of soy sauce. For the equipment that you'll need. Firstly, you'll need a pot with a lid that's just big enough to hold the eggs you're cooking, some water, a slotted spoon and a normal spoon, and the chopstick that I forgot to show you. Let's cook. Put the eggs into your pot gently. You want to use a pot that's just big enough to hold the eggs that you're cooking, because if it's too big, you'll need more water to cook them, which will just slow you down. Now, add in just enough water to cover the eggs. Turn your stove on to medium. And then put your lid on and bring it to a gentle simmer. While that's happening, I'm going to show you what you can do with some tea bags and a chopstick. Well, actually, it's not as bad as that sounds. Just take your tea bag and tie it onto your chopstick. This makes it easier to get the tea bags out of the sauce later. It's really not all that complicated, though I seem to make it look that way. It's a talent. And we're ready for the pot. For normal hard-boiled eggs, you'd leave these on for 15 minutes, but we're cooking these twice, so we're going to reduce that down to 8 minutes. If you're cooking more than 6 eggs, you'd probably want to go for maybe 10 to 12 minutes. Put your lid back on and turn off the heat. You actually don't want the heat going. Now that 8 minutes has passed, you can see these are still plenty hot. Take your slotted spoon and remove your eggs. Be really careful not to splash yourself. Once all of the eggs are out, you can discard the water. Okay, in the empty pot, put your soy sauce and your spices, and finally the tea bags. Because you tied these to the chopstick earlier, you could lay that over the top of the pot and they won't fall in. Since these eggs are still really hot, use a slotted spoon or an oven mitt to hold them, and use your normal spoon to make cracks all over the shell. The eggs are technically soft boiled right now, so they'll be kind of bouncy. Try not to break the actual egg itself, but be firm. The deeper you crack the shell, the more flavor will get into the egg, and the darker the marbling effect will be. So this looks pretty good. Cracks all over the surface, so just keep repeating these for the rest of the eggs. These are now ready to go back in the pot. In they go, one by one. Just put them in wherever they fit. Add in as much water as you need to cover the eggs again. This is why we can't just reuse the water from before, because we don't want the pot to overflow. Pop your lid back on. Put the heat on to low. Remember, these eggs are already cooked, so we just want enough heat to start infusing the tea and flavors from the spices into the sauce. Set a timer for 45 minutes, and this time you want to keep it at a really low simmer. Because the chopstick is propping the lid of the pot open, you'll want to check this every 10 minutes or so, and top it up with water if you need it. You can stir things around and just make sure the eggs are submerged in the sauce. These would have been smelling amazing for a long time by now, and luckily there's only a few seconds left. So once your timer goes off, turn off the heat and get a bowl ready for the next step. This pot is really hot, so I'm going to use a trivet so I don't melt my countertop. Use the chopstick to remove the tea bags. Then use your slotted spoon to start scooping out the eggs. I like to try and scoop out as many of the spices at the same time, but it's not really all that important, it's just a habit I picked up. We're not done with the eggs yet. Use a ladle or a big spoon and scoop out enough of the sauce to cover the eggs again. You'll then want to let this cool, cover it, and then put it in the fridge for at least 4 hours, but preferably overnight. The longer that you let the eggs soak in the sauce, the stronger the flavor they'll pick up and the darker the marbling effect will be. It's now the next day and we're ready to peel these eggs. I'd say try not to make a big mess, but it's gonna happen anyway. Even though the eggshells are already cracked, you might want to tap it on a plate just to make it a bit easier to peel. Also, peeling eggs that are cold straight out of the fridge is a lot more difficult than it needs to be. So, if you have time, take them out about an hour beforehand and let them come to room temperature first. This will reduce your risk of tearing the egg or deforming the shape. Just a tiny bit more cleaning up, getting the last bits of shell and membrane off. And there you have it, a really pretty marbled tea egg. If you're planning on serving these sliced, you're just going to have to accept that you'll see that grey ring around the yolk. This is usually a sign that the egg is overcooked. Now, honestly, you did cook these for over 45 minutes, so I guess technically they are. It doesn't change the flavor though. Personally, I prefer to serve them whole. What special dishes do you make to celebrate the new year? Leave me a video response, comment on my blog, or tweet me at @SethEats. I hope you enjoyed this video, and have a happy and prosperous Year of the Snake. Bye!